Hey Beauts, Fanny Ann here. Now, a couple of weeks ago I did a video on what I'm listening to and what I'm watching, and someone mentioned that I failed to mention what I'm reading and also the audiobooks that I'm listening to, which is semi-reading but not even reading at all. It's more listening to words and, you know, podcasts and shit like that. So at the moment I'm not listening to any audiobooks because I'm barely reading the books that I'm reading, so I can't be listening to ones as well. It's all so complicated. But yeah, I am listening to 2 podcasts at the moment. I've listened to all of the Broken podcasts, which is PewDiePie and Cinnamon Toast Ken's podcast, which is always hilarious and I do love it. But I've listened to all of them so far. I am listening to, and have listened to for a very long time, something called My Dad Wrote a Porno. It's fucking brilliant. It is so, like, it sounds so weird. When I first got like podcasts, I thought, well, what's on the top rated? Let's have a little look. And I saw it and I saw the title. I was like, that sounds like a bit of me. Anything with the word porno in it, I'm all over. You know me and my fan fiction reading. So I was like, this is going to be great. This is going to be hilarious. And then when I found out that it was basically a bloke reading his dad's erotic novel to his friends and then them reacting to it, I thought this is going to be brilliant because I do, you know, reacting to fresh fan fiction. It'll be very similar. I'll have to listen to it. It is fucking hilarious. It is hilarious. I will link it all down below so you can go and watch it. They're 3 British people. One of them's, her name's Alice Levine, and she's like a radio DJ in England, and she's friends with the bloke whose dad wrote a porno, and it's just so shit. In a good way. That sounds so awful, but the erotic novel is so terrible. It's brilliant, and the way they read it and the way they react to it is just so good. You'll proper get into it. There's like, they've done 2, they're on the 2nd book so far of what he's written, and there's so many episodes for you to catch up on and binge on. Trust me, binge on it hard, because when I first found it there was 9 episodes. I binged on them 9 episodes. I have, come here, give me a cuddle. I have listened to those episodes more times than I care to admit. More times than I care to admit I've listened to those episodes. Just to cheer me up. They're so funny when you're just out on the bus or in public transport. I used to go to work in London, I used to just listen to it on my commute, but it's really hard not to laugh in front of people. I've almost had an aneurysm like 4 or 5 times trying to hold in my laughter of how brilliant this podcast is. So I do recommend it. I will link it all so you can have a little look at it yourself. The 2nd podcast I'm listening to but I have taken a break from is something called Sword and Scale, and it is about real crime. And they talk about, like, each episode's about one story, like a real crime story, and I'm really into like true crime and things like that. I think it's very fascinating, serial killers and things. But there was this one episode, I think I binged on that as well. I got to like episode 33. There's like 80 episodes, and it was so traumatizing. But I cried for about half an hour in my bed, sobbing, and just I couldn't sleep. It was hot. Like, I really thought I had a really strong stomach with things like this, and then that episode just ruined me for a while. So I'm taking a long break from it because I need to stop listening to horrible things and just blind myself to the horrors of the world for a while, because that episode traumatised me. I'm not trying to put people off. If you're really into true crime and you like stuff like that, definitely give it a go because it's very good to listen to and it is very interesting. You get a lot of facts about stories and things. But maybe skip episode 33 and episode 34 because it's a 2-parter, but I haven't listened to 34 yet because 33 just traumatised me so much. Maybe skip those 2 if you're not very strong stomached, because you hear real life audio of someone dying and it's just, I can't deal with that sort of shit, and I had to just stop. So I've stopped listening to that for a while, but I probably will get back to it eventually. Maybe skip that story and just go straight on to another one. So yeah, those are 2 things I'm listening to. I'm still listening to My Dad Wrote a Porno. It comes out every Monday in England. It comes out every Monday, a new episode, and so today's Tuesday, so yesterday was a new episode, and it was disgusting and hilarious at the same time, and I listened to it and it's great. So yeah, I'm going to link them 2 below so you can have a little look at Sword and Scale and My Dad Wrote Porno if you're interested in that sort of thing. It's so different, diverse. Like, I listen to My Dad Wrote Porno and then Sword and Scale and then like that because they're so different. You need the humour when you're listening to real crime because you just need it there. It's like a buffer. You need that. But I'm going to go on to what books I'm reading. That's right, books. because I get distracted easily. At the moment I'm reading Lord of the Rings. This is book 4 of 7, and I have to read the book because I'm such a fan. I just have to. I'm a huge fan. I feel like if I don't read the book then I'm not a true fan, but it is taking me forever. It did have to go on. I'm not gonna lie, Tolkien knows how to just whittle on. He could talk about a pebble for like 8 pages and I'll read it. It's Tolkien. So I'm halfway through this one, as you can see, my bookmark's like halfway through. I will eventually get around to finishing it when I can be bothered. I go in and out of reading books. So this is 4 of 7. So once I've done that, I've only got 3 left. They're all that size as well, it's taking me forever. I'm also starting to read Anne Frank's diary because it's on my list of things to read, because I just want to know, you know, what happened to her, and I know the story and everything, but I've never read the diary, so I'm currently reading that. I'm only, how many pages in am I? I've read it so long. I am this many pages in, so not a lot. I still have this much left to go, but we'll get back to that one as well. I'm also reading Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus because my mum suggested it when I was going through some shit with some bloke, and she was like, read it because a bloke wrote it and it's really interesting, and it is. Do you know what? It's very good. I suggest this book to anyone. It is you do learn a lot. Things you think you know stuff about men or about women, and you don't until you read this book. And this is how much I've done, as you can see. This is how much I've got left. So that's what I'm like with reading. I don't know which one to finish first. I feel like I'm going to finish the Lord of the Rings set first and then go on to finishing them. But yeah, I'm not really read a lot at the moment. Those are kind of, it's just when I can be bothered. I work a lot and I would rather record a video than read a book at the moment. But I will get back to them one day. I'll take them all to LA with me and read them in the park and shit, so in the sunshine. Yeah, that's the books I'm reading. That is the podcast that I'm listening to. So yeah, if there's anything, I don't think there is anything else. Like, I've done watching, listening, books and things, so there's nothing else really that I can say. Oh, there is a shout out that someone's asked me to do, and I said I would when I do my next video. Her name is Abby Pop Fan. I don't know who Abby Pop is, but she's a fan of her, which is fine. But she asked me if I could give her a shout out, and I said yes, of course. So her name's Abby Pop Fam, and I will link her Instagram in the description below because, you know, why not? So yeah, that's the shout outs for today. I don't think I have any more, although I do have one. He hasn't asked me to shout him out, but he is an artist on Instagram, and I said to him, his art is just amazing, and he's 15 years old. The talent is unreal. And I said to him, if you have time, I'd love to see a portrait of me done. I would love to see how you could do it. It is amazing. This is it. Look at it. The boy's got such talent. I will link him below. His name is He Tries to Draw, but succeeds, is excellent at it. I will link him below as well. Seriously, give him a follow because he is great. He draws a lot of 21 Pilots and a lot of like YouTubers and things like that. He draws a lot of people, but he drew me, and it was just bon appetit. That means good eating, doesn't it? You know what I mean? He's awesome. So I'm going to link him below. Thank you so much for drawing me. I loved it. I love it. It's now my profile picture on Instagram as well, so thank you. Anyway, that's it for kind of what I'm up to at the moment. Again, if there's anything else you want to know, ask me and I'll probably do another video on it like I did this time. But thank you so much for coming and seeing me today. I really appreciate it. Remember to push all those lovely little buttons at the bottom. Remember to follow your dreams, no matter how small they are, and I'll see all of you beautiful people in the next one. Bye, 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 bye. Jed Lee got me back into it. He's really funny. If you haven't seen Jed Lee, his sense of humour is so like dry. It's great. Jed Lee, Brendan McNerney, so many like songs and stuff in it and all. I just can't.